Hi ladies and gentlemen, Sean Davies with ColoradoRainsman.com. I am here today on September 27th with Freedom. Now Freedom's standing here all nice and quiet, but as of a week ago, Freedom was a wild little horse up in Wyoming. Her story, I got a call from a nice lady from Massachusetts who had been a guest at a guest ranch up in Dubois, Wyoming. And on one of the trail rides, one of the wranglers said, "Hey, there's that little Mustang." And she went, "Oh, really?" And then investigated a little bit, and supposedly the story on this little mare was that she was a horse on a pack trip out on a hunting trip, and she had gotten off the picket line and kind of went feral for the last 2 years. She was deserted by the folks. They couldn't catch her, so they just left her out there to fend for herself for 2 years in the mountains. And that was the story that everybody basically had told me. She's been seen for 2 winters up there, and she kind of hung out with at the guest ranch all summer next to the young herd of Arabians that they breed. So this lady has taken it upon herself that she wants this horse to have a little better chance at survival. So she gave me a call. I agreed to go up and try to catch this horse and do what I could with her. So I went up on a Monday, and Monday afternoon we kind of got her up in a big pen. Their fences weren't too good, and she jumped out. Spent 3 hours getting her back in, and the next day we used some panels and I got her in and started my work. And by Tuesday I had my halter on, about midday I had my halter on and started her lead training, and through some really using all my horsemanship that I know, I was able to get my hands on her and really start getting her tamed up, so the next morning when the vet came they could draw blood. So we got her past that. The vet had a little hard time finding her vein, but this little horse stood right there finally. I carried on with some training. I had to introduce her to my trailer on Thursday. We got a foot in, and I said that was good enough. She wasn't quite ready. I took her down to the round pen they had there Thursday afternoon. Went through a lot of stuff, and we progressed so well that I went ahead and saddled her. And she did a real nice display of how a horse should buck with her first saddle. It was quite interesting. I got her past that, and about 15 minutes later I put her first ride on walk and trot with no buck. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of help around to film me, but just take my word for it. It was a nice short little ride. We did well. I said that's good enough. So now we're back down in Colorado. I got her in the trailer the next morning, and here we are in Colorado. Fort Collins, or actually Loveland, at the barn I work out of primarily, and you can see she's really started to kind of settle in and hook on to me. I've already brushed her out. It's her first time in the indoor arena in the round pen. I'm going to do something real quick I haven't done before, and that's pick her feet. I've gotten her to where she can, where she will allow me to pick all 4 feet up. So I'm just going to let that lead rope just sit there, calm her down. You can see any kind of movement around this horse. She is a little nervous. I've got Haley, one of my assistants here, taking my video, so she's kind of going, well, who is she? And we're just going to calm her in a little bit. This little horse, now that she's starting to give, it just falls into place left and right. So I'm going to go ahead and pick her feet. Come down here and pick this foot up. She's a little off balance, but I'm still going to get it. Good girl. She ought to weight on that foot a little bit too much. Now this may not look like much, but it's pretty big for a little horse who never had her feet picked up before last week. I'm going to ask her to put them down. Good girl. I'm going to ask her for this hind foot. And you see I'm not holding her. If she chooses to leave, she can leave. real good on her part. She's choosing to stay with me. Everything about this little horse, as wild as she was, the story that they told me didn't quite jive when I looked in her mouth, because when I looked in her mouth, as I will show you, she's got a mouth full of baby teeth. This horse is only 2.5 years old. So the story of her being a full-grown horse 2 years ago on a pack trip doesn't quite jive unless they were packing a 6 to 8 month old. So it turns out, I believe, the Wind River Indian Reservation is right over the mountains from this ranch. I believe she may have been an orphaned Mustang off of their, or one of their feral horses off of the reservation. Maybe they did a gather and she got separated and has lived on her own for 2 years, or she could be an orphan foal from a ranch nearby. Regardless, she's been running free for 2 years, fending for herself, avoiding getting eaten by the grizzly bears and the packs of wolves up there. So this little horse has a real desire to live, and she is just showing that she's going to be a nice little horse. Now I'm going to be putting about 60 to 90 days on her just to get her ready to possibly transport to Massachusetts for the lady. And you know, no matter what, this lady needs to make her decision about what she's going to do with this horse. But I am going to do everything possible to make this horse a nice horse for whoever she ends up with. Now she's just giving me her feet now. Now she's trying to take a little bit right there, but I'm just going to hold that foot gently, not let her take it from me, and I want to set that foot down. Like I said, I'm not holding on to her. Now she just gave me that foot, and I get to sit it down all myself, and I'm going to really rub her up there. Why don't you come over here? Good girl. Yes, Miss Freedom's saying, ooh, somebody's moving. She's very aware of what goes on around her. Now I'm going to ask her for this foot. Now I'm taking it real easy at first. I don't really want to go pulling on this leg or anything. She gives it to me. I'm going to be satisfied with where it is. Her feet are in such nice shape. Those mountains were very rocky up there. And she has self-trimmed these feet. They're a foot that a Mustang would love to have. Nice, hard, nice, wide little feet. I'll get her to where I can rasp her up. But they are in super shape right now. She's got a few nicks and dings from jumping fences and banging things and living her on her own, but she's coming along. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just finished cleaning her feet, so I'm going to do some round pen and some groundwork with her. So stay tuned, and you'll see just how smart this little horse here is in a few minutes. Thank you.